Ok. ¿Me podéis confirmar que se vea? ¿Sí? ¿Sí? ¿Se me oye también? Vale. Ok. Hello everyone, and so sorry for the waiting. ¿Sí? So sorry for the waiting. We had some issues with the transmission, so we solve it as quick as we can. So anyway, here we are with another live streaming from the series of the current Kickstarter from Lead Creatives that is called Traders of the Kobberland. Maybe you will see the previous one, but if not, I just can explain how to paint this miniature from the Kickstarter that was unlocked a few days ago, and this one is one of the Kickstarter exclusive miniatures from the Kickstarter. So you will have the chance to get the miniature in the Kickstarter, but not later. So hurry up if you like it. And talking about the Kickstarter, I want to comment that this weekend you have unlocked another miniature, and I have some guests for the live streaming, and this is our guest, Mr. Forged Fury. This is the miniature unlock for you, and painted by Marmas Clans and sculpted by Alejandro Muñoz. So it's Georgios. This is our special guest for today. And as you will see in the campaign, you will unlock some characters reaching to certain levels of pledges. So many characters still left for unlocking. So we hope that all the surprises and the special appearance of the characters you will see in the following days. But you don't can unlock the characters only making pledges. So just a few moments ago we announced a social stretch goal, so you can unlock another special character. So let me show this, because maybe you don't see it. And sorry, okay, this is our Kickstarter for the newcomers, or maybe you don't know this Kickstarter. And this is the social stretch goal that we launched already, and this is another guest for the campaign. Yeah, it's a bust of one of the characters of the Kickstarter, and we hope that you like it, and we hope that together we can reach to these social stretch goals in order to unlock this character. So we need to see this boost unlocked. So let's talk and more paint. Now we'll begin with the process from over Kitti. This is one of the characters that form the kit. This is the kit. Maybe you don't see it mounted. beautiful, sculpted by Patrick Mason, the great Patrick Mason. And I amount the main character in order to paint the miniature more comfortable. So I continue painting the pelican. If you don't know, his name is Kitti, so I start to applying some colors over Kitti. I was working on the feathers, and this morning I was ending this other part that I can paint along the hour of the live streaming. Hello to the newcomers. There's many people that we saw the day before, so hello again. And if you want to ask me something about the painting, about the Kickstarter or something like that, don't hesitate to do that, because I'm here for that. And another thing that I want to mention is, mainly I'll try to make the painting streaming series in English, in my English. So from now I hope that you can understand my English, my strange English, okay? I'm just practicing my my English, but if you have some specific question in Spanish, because we are from Spain and many people ask to us because we don't make things in Spanish, but I think that English is more more universal. But anyway, if you have some question in Spanish, I'm glad to answer those questions. So feel free. Okay. So I will start to painting the legs, and this part is called beak. ¿Cómo se llama el pico de un pájaro en inglés? Anybody knows? I think this is called the beak. So as you can see in the concept, these parts are painted in beak. Is correct?
Beak. B-E-A-K.
Okay, perfect. So we are learning English. The beak have some tones in orange, desaturated orange, because as you can see in the concept part, the main character has the brightest orange in the illustration. By the way, the illustration, if you don't know, is made by Even Medalmusen. All the characters of the campaign are designed, and the concept part are made by Even, and they are gorgeous. Incredible work over these characters. So maybe you don't see the wet palette, but I'll try to make my mixes in order that you can see in the video. But this was a decision that if I need to close the point of view of the camera, we need to lose the vision of the wet palette. But don't worry, you will see enough. Okay, I'm taking some orange, some yellow, some blue, yeah, blue, some ochre, and we need some color that have some white in the mix, like for example this one is good. It's a bright flesh tone. So I think these colors will work for these parts. So as you can saw in the previous steps over these feathers, I started by adding the saddles, okay? For the legs and the beak, the parts of the saddles are clearly defined, but the black priming that I did in the first step. So as you can see, these darkest part are the ones that I apply the color of the saddle. Okay, so for the saddle I pick some of blue, yeah, some orange, maybe two blue, and mixing these two colors I obtain some kind of brown. You see? This color. Hi Lucas. Nice to see you again. Okay, so I'll start to apply this brown. It's a dark brown. And why I mix blue? The answer is because I mix some of the same blue in the wall miniature before. Using the same blue, I achieve a better result in order to obtain some kind of ambience on the miniatures. And the orange is a color that fit very well in the scheme because it's the complementary to the tones, the purple tones of the feathers. So maybe you can think that the pelicans don't have purple feathers, but even Amundsen is a clever guy and thought in this game of complementary colors, purple with orange. Maybe this is why the dwarf have the bird in an orange color. Okay, as you can see, this color covers very well the miniature, and I need only one layer of this color in order to achieve the color that I want. Maybe the legs is not the better part to show the work, but at the end we must paint the legs, so I hope that you can see clearer as you can. Okay. Hello to the newcomers. We just start to paint this part, so you are not too late. Welcome. Okay. And I need to redo my mixes because here in Spain the weather is so warm in these days. It is very difficult to paint with these conditions, but we'll try to do our best. I'm applying a layer of this dark color to all these part of the miniature, because at the end it have a very small size, so I find more useful to match with the shadows all the part, and later add the light over these shadows. Okay. These paints will cover the surface in a moment, because they have a strong power of coverage, as I said the day before. I don't know if you know these colors from Chimera colors. They are wonderful to make this kind of steps of the process, the painting process, and you can combine these paints with whatever you want in order to get the benefits of the both characteristics of the paint that you are using. Okay, this is my base coat, and for the beak I'll apply a similar tone, but a little bit brighter, because these parts are almost in shadows and these parts are more exposed to the light, so I don't need a color so dark. I add more orange in order to get a more brighter color, and with this color I only need to paint the parts in shadow. As you can see, I don't need to paint all the beak with this color. The light that are more yellowish will cover better over a clear, a bright surface. So I make a sketch over the shadows this way. Something like that. This part is another part of shadow. Okay. Is the image good? We had some issues at the beginning of the streaming, so we need to hurry up in order to get the signal correct again, and we hope that the quality of the video was good at the end. Okay, this is an important part to make a teeny line of shadows here. I hope that you will see. Okay. And you will see now very clear for what it is. This defines the separation between the beak and the neck of Kitty. So it's very important to mark this black line. I call it black line because I think people call that in this way, but I'm not sure what is the name. But in the end is gain some definition between the beak and the body of Kitty. Okay? Okay, and for the same reason, I'll need to mark this part. The inner part of the beak. Okay, this line separates this part, the upper part of the beak, from the down part of the beak. Okay, I will make this line a little bit darker, adding more blue, sorry. Okay, you can see the separation now clearer. And another part, I want to make some shadow with this color. Maybe I will mix this color with other one. I will use magenta, okay? This is a color that you can use for every single part of the miniature, because it gives you to your mixes some depth, some strong of the color. And adding this magenta to my brown, I achieve a more warmer brown. It's not a brown really right now, but I need to add some shadows in the part of the eye. So looking at the concept art, I see that this part have a little bit of red or magenta, okay? Because as in the humans, in this part are where the irrigation of the body is more evident, and you can see here more the color of the blood. In the humans, we love to add those tones to the ears, to the nose, to the knuckles, and this part are tones that you can see the blood under the skin. Okay, it's a devil eye, devilish eye. Okay, and maybe I will add in this part on the shadow, very teeny, this shadow, and a touch here. Okay, more interesting. Okay, no questions? It's all clear enough? I think the process is very understandable, but maybe you have some doubts, some questions. Don't be shy. Okay, and the same for this part. You can see the difference between this work over here and this work over here. Okay, it's easy. You need just to cover the dark parts with my color of shadow. It's like a sketch, okay, of light and shadows. I love to paint in this way. It's quite similar to to the things that some illustrators do. So this is nothing new, but I found some applications of these things over the miniatures that help to us to understand where the light goes, where the shadow is, and in this way I found more easier to paint. Okay, I made the line between the beak and the body, the dark line, to separate these two parts. As you can see, maybe in some positions you don't see very well the things that I'm doing, but I'll do my best in order that you can see as much as you can. By the way, let me know what is your favorite character of the campaign and why. I love this one, I must to confess. And I must to say that the other Kickstarter exclusive kit will be huge as this, but more. And I think that you will love too. Okay, this is my shadows over the beak, and of course this one is yours. Lucas, I love to see one version from you. And I think it's very, very funny to paint. Because at the end, the characters that have these kind of feathers are very need a lot of work in order to define, to make these kind of things that I'm already doing with the beak, defining, more defining. But I found that the sculpture in this case helps a lot in order to make this definition more quicker. In some parts you only need to pass the brush and the sculpture flow up. And of course these make the work more quick and funny. Okay, I made the black lining between the upper part and the down part, okay, as I did before, and the only thing that I left to paint is the eye socket with my previous mix of this, let's say, brownish reddish color. Okay, so I apply in the shadows. As you can see, the priming coat is still visible there. And and here. Okay, done. Okay, and there is another part that is sewed the magenta in more strong way. If you don't notice what part it is, anyone in the part of the big, in the concept part, can see where the magenta is present in this version of saturation. Okay, this part. Something curious because I was seeing reference from pelicans, and it's true. They have the tip of this color. Maybe I will add more red at the end, but in this step I mark the tip with this color in order to gain more saturation on the miniature. As you can see at the beginning, all the feathers have a similar look, and maybe you can see that the miniature is a little bit boring. But when I start to introduce the other colors of the miniature, you can start to see how the miniature is growing up. When I made the light, you will see it better. Because the lights, there are of some kind of ochre, like this one, maybe more desaturated. But at the end, you will see more color contrasting with this part more grayer. So this is the trick for this character. So I will start to add the lights. I will start with the legs, mixing some ochre, this one, for example, and a little bit of the previous colors. You can see the mix. Perfect. Okay. I achieve some kind of ochre brown, and I'll start to add the light for the legs, following the texture of the sculpture. And this part requires some drawing with the brush, and I need to cover with the paint better, so I will add Chimera ochre to help to add coverage to my mix. Need to darken a little bit. Oh, I darkened too much. Don't worry, I can fix that. I'll make this mix over here. Okay. And I start to do some texture. Is visible? Okay. you need to play with the brush to make this kind of textures, making dots, making little lines. Stripes, whatever you want, in order to achieve some interesting textures. Okay. Sorry for the position. But it's the only way I can reach comfortable to this part. Don't worry, I will see this to you right now. And okay. And the part under the body of Kitty, I work it a little bit, but I must think that this part is in shadow. So later I will go down with my colors in order to make this part more darker than the outside part, that is this one visible for you here. Okay, this is my first light over this part, and the same for that. I'm making a lot of thin lines. In order to emulate some kind of texture. Okay. And in this part I need to apply some definition too. The back part of the leg. Okay. And now it's time to do something similar in the beak. But here, as I did before, I will use a brighter color. Okay, so I will take the ochre. Un saludo, José Manuel. Vale. ¿Hay alguno viéndonos que hable castellano? Okay. Anyway, I'll still to make in the lights on the beak in this way. All this part is a plane of light, so I don't take much care to cover this part in this way. And the part where I need to pay some attention is in this part where the transition between the yellow and the creamy color of the feathers of this part is made. But this is a problem of not now, for later. Okay, I must to apply some light this part. And in this part. Okay, I paint this part before with some magenta. Okay, so I'll do a quick tip for you here, that is make this, apply some magenta, and right now apply some ochre in order to make a wet blending. This is a quick transition between those two colors that are very different, like these two. You can remake. A little bit. And done. This is a sketch, don't worry, because later we will refine all the parts and give more work. Okay, continue with this part. The only thing I need to be aware is to not cover the previous shadows that I applied to these parts. I need to respect the planes of shadows and apply the planes of light. Okay? And this part is a part with light. Okay? And the edge of the beak is a part with light. In fact, is the one of the more highlighted parts. Okay. I'm remaking some parts with the light to make more deep and consistent the light in this part. Okay. For example, in this part I will need a second layer, so I I'm applying this second layer. In general, the colors with yellow covers a little bit less than the others, so you need to repaint this part. Thank you. Gracias, Sanruk. Me da moral, ¿eh? Okay, and I'll do the same with the other part. The ochre colors at the end are colors that has a lot of yellow, and this is why sometimes it's difficult to cover in one layer with these colors. With the ochre of Chimera colors, the things goes better. But anyway, you need to make some work on layering with these bright ochres. I'll try to make a little bit darker in order to get more coverage. Okay, this is a little trick. It's more easy to cover over a color that is a medium tone, and later I apply the final light this way. Oh, if sometime I go out of the camera, let me know. Okay, as you can see, I'll try to not cover the shadows, apply it before, and with the shadows painted and the light painted, I will have all that we need in order to achieve a volumetry. Is the way that I usually start to paint miniatures, and the later steps is refining this sketch. Okay, but at the end the important step is this, because if you don't place your shadows and your lights in the correct places, your miniature will look weird. Your eye will identify some volumes as strange volumes, but your head will don't know why. So it's good to make this work in this step, and the things that you like in this step, okay, and the things that you don't like in this step, you can fix easily in this step. Later not. When you have all this part painted, smoothed and defined, it's more difficult to change without ruining the previous work. So in this step you need to make a consistent work light and shadows. You see it? Okay, I'll start to add more light, more definition to this part. So I will add a more brighter color to the previous mix. I don't know if you see the wet palette. I will use, no? Okay. Now it's better? Okay. I will use this color, it's a bright color, and mix with the previous one in order to achieve some skin tone, maybe too yellowish for a skin tone, but a bright choker at the end. And I use this to define a little bit more this part. I don't need to cover all the previous light with this light, okay? I only need to work on over the previous light only, no cover the previous light. I make some little dot strips as before. You see it? How I emulate the texture of the legs. You can see the texture start to flow. More lines, more dots, working on the texture little by little, step by step. And I need to make plane of light over here. Okay, and maybe you will see that the leg is too much bright compared with the one in the concept part, but don't worry about that because later I will clean up some the texture and I make it the overall more darker, okay? Hola Florencio. La marca de los colores, pues utilizo un poco varias marcas, ¿no? no te creas que solo utilizo estos, pero para los colores base y el primer sketch sí que me gusta mucho esta marca porque cubren bastante bien, tienen una potencia de color considerable y la verdad es que se trabajan muy bien. El acabado es muy mate. Si no quieres un acabado muy mate, las puedes mezclar con otras marcas, con tintas. Pero bueno, en definitiva van muy bien para estos pasos en los que estoy sketchando la figura. ¿Ok? I'll continue with the second light on the beak, and with this light I reinforce the previous light that I applied in this way. Okay? Hago una pequeña texturita, como podéis ver. You see it? Okay. This is another part that I need to highlight. Okay. But only I applied a little bit of light over this part because this part are in a tone of shadow. Okay, and for this part this sketch will be okay. Maybe I will add some light here. Perfect. As you can see, I love to draw this kind of lining to make the appearance more natural. These kind of things are effects taken by from the 2D, and this is called drawing in miniatures. It's something a lot of common to draw when we paint a non-metallic metal, for example. But painting these kind of materials that are a little bit shiny, okay, we will work together perfectly, okay. Okay, So for the other part, I'll do the same. Okay, I will add a little bit of yellow. Let's see what happened. Oh, it's curious. I will make the highlighting of the edge of the beak. Okay, and this part I need to highlight it. Okay, it's difficult the things that I explain, or is all clear for you? Let me know. Maybe at this point you will see the miniature a little bit roughly, because I'm not care about the definition, the transitions, the smooth the transitions, etc. I thinking in make some interesting volumes for my sketch and for my miniature. And the other step that I talk about comes later of this one. Okay, I will add here some final lights for this sketch, and now I'm going to start to make some airbrushing onto this part in order to get a more smooth finish. As we did with the feathers just yesterday. So you will see that the process I follow is no, not always, but a lot of times something similar. And you can use it for a lot of things. Okay, I forget to make a little bit of light over here inside this harness. Okay. And a little bit over here. A touch of light. Okay, this is my sketch for this part. So now I will take my airbrush and I will choose a color to start with the smoothing of the lights. Okay, for this I will choose an ochre color. This one works really well as well with the eyebrows, so is perfect for this. Hello to the newcomers. Glad to see you there. As you can see, I'm using the soccer color. Okay, this will be good. And I'll start to airbrushing over the light planes. You will see that the lights start to gain some smoothness. And in this part, I'll try to be careful in order to not airbrush too much in the already painting parts, okay? But if I airbrush a little bit by mistake, don't worry. At the end, this kind of materials reflect the colors from the adjacent objects. So in the following steps you can fix that and nothing happens. So don't be afraid. In doing these kind of things, you don't need to mask these parts, believe me. But it's true that you need some practice with the airbrush. But this is a tool that helps a lot. It's not really a tool for painting, because when you paint, you can paint everything with the brush, but you can paint everything with the airbrush. But it's true that the airbrush saves a lot of time for you, and you can achieve some nice effects with the airbrush. It's very useful. Okay, you can see the transitions are a little bit smoother than before. What do you think? It's okay? I'll continue with this part. Try to not insist in the same place, because the paint will flow in all the directions. Always do short movements and change the place in which you are airbrushing, or you can dry your applications with the airbrush without making this movement with your finger to the back. Only throwing air. You can apply paint and then air. Okay, this is one trick. Okay, so you will see that the transitions are more smooth. Okay, for the left the same. I only need to apply this color over the planes of light. You don't need to be very precise about where the paint falls. The sculpture makes this work for you. Okay? And it's time we apply this color, this bright color for the lights, and it's time to make the same but for the saddles. Okay, so I will clean a little bit the airbrush with some alcohol. Buenos días a los que se van uniendo. Estáis muy callados todos en general. Sé que es lunes, pero no es para tanto. Bueno, I'm going to make some smoothness in the shadows. So I will choose a color similar that the one I choose for make the sketch. I will use some ochre brown, something like that, okay? And a little bit, of course, of blue. This is the same blue that I use for paint the feathers. So, as I said before, this will help me to create an ambience of my miniature. So this is why I introduce some blue to save the ochre. Okay, so I start. In this step you will see the wall part making how gets more darker, but don't worry. Okay, I start with the leg, and at the end the leg is on the part of the shadow of the of Kitty. Okay, so this part will be darker than the others one presented. The beak will be more bright than the legs. Okay, I hope that you can see the work, because in the legs I know this part are tricky to reach and to see, but something like that. I need to work later again to give more definition. Again, it's the same process that is repeated over and over, but making it 2 times, 3 times, it will be enough to achieve a good finish. Okay, with the other leg the same. I make a little bit of smooth, and for the part that all we want to see how it is goes, the beak. Okay, and as I did with the feathers, I put the beak in this direction in order to paint only in the shadow parts, not in the light, because I'm applying a shadow color. Okay, some parts is difficult to read, but I'll try to do my best. Okay, you see the effect? is this part more clean, more smooth, sorry. This is the part without this step, and this is the part without this step. This now needs to be more detailed with adding more light, but at the end this is the easy part. I'm showing to you how to achieve a smooth gradient and how to sketch interesting lights. Okay, this makes sense for you? Have you ever painted in this way? Okay. So, to finish this part, the only thing I need to do is remake some details that I lose with the airbrush. Okay? What details? Easy. This one, for example. It's crazy the speed at what the paint gets dried. Okay, you see how I highlighting this edge? This gives some definition to the model. And I like to give to this part a little bit of finish satin, so I will draw a little bit points of light. Okay, so this part the same. I'll draw this point of light. Here too the same. Okay, and of course in this part will be the higher part, the higher point of light. You see? Those are called the light points, highlighting, whatever you want, but at the end is almost the final step for this part. Of course, I'm not finished this for the moment, so later when I have painted more of this model, I will come back again to this part and make some retouches. Okay, so this is the way that I work these parts. So I must to see you goodbye until tomorrow at the same hour, when I will continue with the process. Maybe we will work onto the feathers a little bit more, or maybe we will start with the main character. Okay, so I hope to see you here again. I hope that you like it, of course, and don't I want to yeah, la paleta árida, sí, sí, de calor. Bueno, and I want to remember you once again that we launched a social stretch goal in the campaign. Let me show you again, because if we want, if we could to share the publication, to tag some friends and give some likes to the publication, we will unlock this character for you. I love it. It's one of the characters of the campaign, Antonin. But this time is a bust of the character, so remember to follow us and support us. So thank you very much again for watching these live streamings, and we hope to see you tomorrow. So bye bye.